Hey everyone, today we're going to go over the strongest and most useless passives in Brawl Stars. And right away, I want to say that some of these passives are really underestimated by people, while others, for some reason, people keep picking even though they're completely useless. So let's break down what's good and what's bad. Let's get started. Let's start with Ambush. For some reason, a lot of people think it's trash, but that's not true at all. If you're playing Showdown, hiding in bushes and waiting for the right moment to attack, then the extra damage can actually come in handy. In these kinds of modes, this star power at least makes some sense. But if you play aggressively, constantly pressuring enemies and trying to have the biggest impact on the match, then it's better to take cashback. This thing lets you reload your ammo much faster after hitting shots. If you have good aim, you basically start shooting almost non-stop. That's exactly why in most modes this star power seems much stronger. But for example, I just don't get the Dino Jump passive at all. To use this thing properly, you need to perfectly feel the timing and direction of the jumps. Most players just ruin their matches by trying to make fancy jumps. It's much easier and more effective to take Demolition and get a huge damage boost from your super. Half the brawlers just disappear after getting hit by that. Tick's situation is actually funny because he has both one of the worst and one of the best passives in the game at the same time. Automatic is basically a meme because Tick just reloads a little bit faster and that's it. In an actual match you don't even notice it, as if the passive doesn't exist at all. But Well-Oiled is a completely different story. You literally heal while attacking and Tick becomes an extremely annoying character. He's already hard to catch and now he also restores health. Honestly, it's one of the strongest star powers ever. For Piper, snappy sniping looks fine, but honestly, it's just too average. Yeah, a bit of speed is nice, but you're playing as a sniper, not a runner, so Ambush seems much more useful. The slow effect from the last bullet is a really nasty thing, especially if the player can land their shots. In the right hands, Piper with this passive just terrorizes the whole map. For Gus, the star power that restores HP is pretty useless. He already spends most of his time playing from a distance, plus he deals extra damage through his ghosts. But Spiritual Connection is actually a really strong ability. Boosting allies' damage is always useful in any mode. There's really nothing much to explain here. Hank's Take Cover also seems highly questionable because now half the game can break walls, making the whole point of this passive just disappear. Plus, it's already hard for Hank to get close to enemies because of his short range, so Ready to Blow looks much better. The extra speed really helps you get into fights properly. For Squeak, Chain Reaction only sounds good on paper because you won't always hit multiple enemies at once. But Super Sticky is actually a really scary thing. A 4-second slow is basically an eternity. If you land your super well, people literally can't escape. And if you hit several people at once, your super also recharges really fast. For Kenzie, Kenzutsu doesn't seem all that special either. The increased super radius is barely noticeable in-game, but Sushi Master can actually save your life. The shield sometimes just absorbs a huge amount of damage, especially against powerful supers. For Jean, Magic Mist is a decent star power, especially for Gem Grab or Hot Zone. Healing allies is generally useful, but personally I much prefer Magic Slap, because the extra damage from the super almost turns Jean into an assassin. You pull someone in and they disappear instantly. For Fang, Happy Sneakers also seems pretty good. A shield every few seconds is nice, but Fresh Start just completely changes the character's gameplay. When you start getting your super back after kills, Fang turns into a team wiping machine, especially in modes where fights are non-stop. As for Franco, I never really liked the HP stacks. Yeah, sure, the numbers get bigger, but it doesn't make the gameplay any more interesting. But Power Steal, the second passive, actually motivates you to play more aggressively. You get a kill, you get a damage boost, and you go on to wreck even more. It just feels a lot more fun. Penny's Mega Blaster is a really weird thing because you usually place the mortar behind a wall so it can stay safe and keep firing. The star power kind of forces you to put the turret right in front of the enemies on purpose. It's much more useful to take full barrels, bigger area of effect, more hits, more value in the match. It's all very simple. Dynamic's Demolition Record is actually not such a bad star power. Against robots, safes and turrets, the damage is really huge, but Plagiarism still feels much stronger. Taking away an enemy's ammo is already unpleasant, but when you also use it as your own extra attack, the damage just gets insane. Carl's power throw is hardly noticeable in the game. Yes, the pickaxe flies faster, but there's really no wow effect at all. But Protective Pirouette is actually useful. During your super, you become much tankier and can stay near the enemy longer without getting knocked out in a second. I've also never really liked Surge's freeze because if someone actually knows how to play Surge, they won't be dying all the time anyway. But to the max looks more interesting. The shards from the attack let you hit people even behind cover. Sometimes this really annoys the enemies a lot. B's instant reload is a star power for people who miss a lot because the whole point is to give you a second chance after you miss. But if someone plays B well, they'll rarely miss a charged shot, so Honeycomb looks much more reliable. The shield really does save your life quite often. Nani's autofocus is also more of an average star power. Yes, you can deal more damage with your super if you fly for a long time, but Tempered Steel is much more reliable. While controlling your super, you get a huge shield, and the enemies even as a whole team can't kill you quickly. Barry's Creative Chaos also looks pretty good. Extra damage is always nice, but the Floor is Lava feels much stronger because Barry has a very slow reload and this boost just makes the character much more comfortable to play. You start constantly refreshing your ice cream and relentlessly pressuring enemies with your attacks. And as for Water Strider, honestly, I just don't see the point of it at all. Sure, you move faster on water, but how many maps in the game are there where water really makes all the difference? That's why Inhalation seems much more useful. You deal damage with your super and heal yourself at the same time. And in prolonged fights, this is really noticeable. In short, in my opinion, a good passive should really change the character or have a strong impact on the match, not just give you some numbers that you don't even notice while playing. But that's just my opinion. So be sure to write in the comments what you agree with and where you think I'm talking complete nonsense. See you next time.